बाकी है।
हाँ।
ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते। As we saw last time about one of the values, Uparama. Uparama means Swadharmanushtanam, commitment to one's dharma. And the meaning of the word dharma we saw, dharma doesn't mean simply a religion or a faith. Dharma here is in a sense of one's duty. That which I am expected to do, that which is proper for me to do is dharma. Dharma anushthanam means commitment to what is to be done and what is not to be done. That is called dharma. There is a saying, Subhashitani, that few things are common between human and animal. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam, etc. Then it says, dharmo hi tesham athiko vishesha. Sometimes it is like buddhi, viveko, etc. Dharma is only vishesha which we have. And the second half of says, dharmena hina pashubhis samana. Those who are bereft of dharma, they are called pashus. Why it is said so? Why there is dharma needed? Dharma means kartavya, to be done. In Gujarati we studied in civic science. Those days we had a civics. And there was Nagarik na Dharmo. What are the dharmas of duties of Nagarik means citizens? Because we are blessed with the freedom of choice to act. Literally, that freedom is in my hands. Both ways you can say. It is in my hands, I can do. What does the freedom mean? And when I say only human being has the freedom, how animals don't have? They are programmed. They are destined to behave in a certain way. Bhagavan has put software in a cow that it has to be vegetarian. It can never ever think of becoming non-vegetarian, much less it can become. Some animals are carnivorous, lion, tiger. There is a software that it has to eat meat only. From eating habits to their lifestyle, their way of living, their biological urges, everything is programmed. Now we have a freedom to think the way we want to some extent, and we have a freedom to act we want to. The definition of freedom is kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. Freedom to do, freedom not to do, and freedom to do it otherwise. A typical example, when you show a piece of roti or a bread, something, to a dog, it will wag the tail. It has no choice but to wag the tail. You cannot find a dog trying to hold the tail tight and coming to you for roti. It will wag it and it will want it. It has no choice but to go for it. Whereas in human, a 3-year-old child, if I offer a toffee, child may jump on it, chocolate, may deny, no, I don't want. Even if the dad gives, I don't want. And child may push mom, you take it and give it. Because he doesn't want to take from me. Anyatha va kartum sakyam. Akartum is also part of the freedom. Capacity not to do. You see, Puja Swamiji often said this. What is freedom? That which can be misused and abused, there is a freedom. If it cannot be misused or abused, it is not freedom. That means there are chances and strong possibilities, in fact, it's factual, that human being can misuse and abuse. That capacity to refrain from abusing and misusing is called akartum shakti. Capacity not to do the thing that I feel like doing. Freedom is not that to do what I feel like. Freedom means what? Capacity not to do what I feel like doing and to do what I don't feel like. It's a strength. So, commitment to dharma, when you succumb to your likes and dislikes, when you succumb to your fancies, as I mentioned last time, there is a very thin line of demarcation between freedom and licentiousness. Swatantrata and swachandata. There is very thin. To be within the boundaries of freedom is very difficult. It's very subtle. One may transgress those boundaries. In order to learn not to transgress, not to do even if I feel like doing, there should be in between buffer. Not buffer, but in between, like officer. The clerk accepts the checks, cashier gives the money, but in the bank in between there is officer who sanctions the check, verifies the signature. That sanctioning authority is my buddhi, my knowledge. Even if I feel like doing, I check with my wisdom, is it proper to do? Does it behoove of me to do? And if the answer is no, I have a strength not to do what I feel like. That is the real freedom. So many things I don't feel like doing. Then that in between officer says, this has to be done. And capacity to do the thing which I am expected, even though I don't feel like doing, that is a strength. That is the phalam of living a life of ethics or living a life of dharma. Today, you find with so much of success in their professional career or social career or power, whatever, there is no sense of being a successful person. If a person lives a life of dharma, if a person lives a life of ethic, does what is to be done and manages himself in not indulging into things which I am not supposed to do, that person will have a sense of success with reference to himself. That person will have a sense of self-accomplishment, sense of self-satisfaction, sense of self-contentment, sense of proud. I will have a pride in myself. Yes, I have lived ethical. This is what I have done. So that is called Uparama Dharma. When I don't succumb to my fancies, I can manage that pressure. Understand? That Mahabharata which took place millennia ago is every day going on here. Especially today, it starts for Westerners every Saturday, Sunday morning is a Mahabharata. Should I get up or not? That Mahabharata starts from there. And then, oh, Swamiji, every time he was having class on Sunday and today we kept on Saturday. Saturday is a day to sleep and I have to wake up, forget it. Swami is not going to see me who are attending, I can skip the class. This is a Mahabharata. This Yudhishthira or Pandava stands the force which is committed to Dharma, committed to what is proper. Yudhishthira lived a life of what is proper. And Duryodhana was trespassers, always cutting corners. Life of adharma. So when this life of duty, life of dharma gives that strength to deny myself. People can deny others, not themselves. Classic case, as I mentioned, Ravana is a classic case. He denied the devatas from the pleasure of heaven, but he couldn't deny himself for just one Sita. He didn't have that strength. So there is a seminar I take, re-engineering the life. Re-engineering that is inner life, not external. And the inner re-engineering happens when you live a life of dharma. That is called uparama. You know? That means you are master of yourself. That is why we Swamis, we don't possess anything but called Swami. And the king is called Swami. The person is a Swami who is a master of his likes and dislikes, who can deny himself and who can push himself or herself to what is to be done and what is not to be done. Anyway, next value comes titiksha. There is a question. Titiksha ka, and the teacher replies, Shitoshna sukha dukkhadi sahishnutvam. Okay? Sahishnutvam, forbearance or endurance, they say. Actually, it is not, but let us use the word dictionary translation, though it is improper. We'll see. Of what? Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkha Adi. These are the pairs of opposite, hot and cold. Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha, happiness and unhappiness, pleasant and unpleasant, respectful, disrespectful. Dvandva, the world or the life is full of these types of dvandva. As they say, life is neither black nor white, it is always grey. Every human being meets with both types of situation and people. In fact, the very definition of this body, Manushya Sharira, is Sukha Dukkhadi Panchikruta Panchamaha Bhutaihi Kratam Satkarmajanyam Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Ayatana. We will see the definition further in the same text. This is an abode, house for Jiva to reside. For what? Sukha, to experience Sukha and Dukkha. As I said, life is full of pairs of opposite. It is always great. That also It is not only white and only black. It is always mixed. In any if you analyze the moments of happiness, there is some complaint in it. There is some unhappiness. I wish this could be little better. I am happy, but then could be little better. There is always little better sense. And in dukkha also there are some happiness we may not see because being overpowered by that. So there are two choices. Either you keep grumbling and let lose yourself. This is heaven and blah 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 blah. Also thing like that, or accept the things cheerfully. This is how it is. Full stop. One has to learn. I don't, Diksha means I don't allow the external situation to shake me off, to make me imbalanced, not to being overpowered, not being hijacked. I have that inner composure. As they say, in America, be cool. It's okay. It's okay. Capacity to look at that and it is okay. Please understand that this kind of pairs of opposite will be there. You just cannot avoid. There are advantages and disadvantages. That's why people always feel the other thing is better. And though wherever they are, they want to go to other place. It is like these NRIs, especially my generation, feel that, oh, we should come to India and stay in India and etc. But Indians want to come to America. There is always a feeling. I miss the family. There is such a nice country. We have such a good social life, good friends, and there is a leisure and all that. The fellow comes back. Having come back, what to do? There is no work here. I'm getting bored. All dirt, mosquitoes, traffic jam. I want to go back. There are advantages of being in Bombay and disadvantages of being in Bombay and advantages, disadvantages being in US. There is no place, no job is perfect. There is some complaint always there. I mean, if they pay me well, my respect is good, but distance, my God, I have to travel daily 1.5 hours, full stop. If not, no, there is a lot of traveling. I have to be away for 3, 4 days. As they say, there are million reasons, million ways to see that situation is painful. And there are equally million ways to see that it is not painful. How you look at it. And even if it is objectively painful, let us say that, then one has to learn to accept that this is how it is. It is like that proverb which Swami used to say. And I find people not having that acceptance capacity, you just go there. Any party, any time. I've been observing when I go, I don't have parties, but when I go, people invite their friends in America for dinner. Swamiji ke saath khana hai after the lecture. This I have been listening for the last 15 years. After the food is over, men will start, in India things are good, and they slowly shift to Narendra Modi. That time shift to Manmohan Singh, Congress, and complain. India, I don't know what this Congress is doing. How come they are winning? Modi should be given chance. He is a good Prime Minister. India is done, blah, blah, blah. They are useless. They should not be done. Such a foolish fellow Rahul is. Like that they keep telling. I keep hearing. Agreed, you are right. What is the point in blabbering and wasting time in US? You better come here and do something. Or accept it. This is what it is. Full stop. So there is a proverb. Swami used to say that. Prayer. They say, oh Lord, give me courage to change the things which I can. Give me serenity to accept which I can't. And the third line is important, and the wisdom to know the difference. What is not changeable by you, accept it. What's the point? A constant complaining will not add to your comfort, will not reduce your discomfort, will not reduce your displeasant state of the mind. Better you learn to accept. And if it is not changeable, leave, forget it. Generally, people keep complaining about son or daughter-in-law or son-in-law. This is how it is. Forget it. Either try to change, and if it is unchangeable, pray to Lord. What else? I think that's a doing. Somewhere that's action. There's no point in grumbling and bridging all the time. So, titiksha is very important. Be it a place, be it a period of your life, be it your job, be it your relatives. As they say, no two fingerprints are same. You will not find a single person which fits totally into your expectation. That doesn't mean, as they say in English, what cannot be cured should be endured. That simple endurance creates a pain within. It is like keeping the fire on and keeping the pressure on the whistle also. Don't let the steam out. One day it will blow. All the time I have to suffer and nobody will. Volcano. And totally opposite reaction. Acceptance. The cheerful acceptance. You accept cheerfully the people with whom you have to live. You accept cheerfully the situation that you are met with. You accept cheerfully the place and the traffic. This is it. Just be cool, relax. That is why this is called titiksha. Chinta vilapa rahitam apratikara purvakam sahanam sarva dukkha. Dukkha itself is unpleasant. Do what is to be done to change the situation. But constantly grumbling about the discomfort, unpleasantness, will not help. That is the child within. There's a baby. We have not addressed the baby within. You look at this. When a baby learns to walk, it falls down. And it falls down, it is obviously hurt little bit, not much. It is a pain, but then he cries. Everybody wants a sympathy. And then after waking up, after getting up also, keeps saying, I fell down, I fell down, I fell down. You fell down, that's a fact. Forget it, come on, go ahead. Why hold on to the past? So, glad acceptance of the situation, that is called titiksha. Not simply endurance. Accept it. People also. Just as I have some limitations. If I candidly look at myself, if I candidly accept, I have certain limitations. So also other person has. Yeah. I call it, the Diksha is a motherly attitude. Mother may have 100 complaints about their children, but she accepts them. Does what is to be done. Tries to correct the baby. Tries to change the situation. But the effort is begun out of acceptance, not out of rejection, not out of pain. So, that is necessary in every relationship. And that is the quality necessary for a seeker that makes the person ready for the knowledge. In the second chapter, Bhagavan says, So amrutatvaya kalpate, mokshaya yogya bhavati. That person becomes ready That mindset is fit to gain this self-knowledge. Very important value for any ashrama, may it be brahmacharya ashrama, grihastha, vanaprastha or sannyas, whatever may be the lifestyle, one needs to learn this value. That, by the way, that we learn to accept the pain, that we learn to accept the discomfort, that we learn to accept the unpleasant situation. There is a value in our culture for tapas. People take certain vows. I will fast on this day. I will sleep on the floor. I will do a barefoot, etc. That is only to learn to accept unpleasant things. The tapas helps us to discipline one's own mind. At the same time, tapas helps one to develop titiksha, like that titiksha means the glad acceptance. Otherwise, what happens? And there is a winter, too much of cold, people shiver. There is emotional shivering when some unpleasant situation comes. There is emotional sweating, fretting. Something unpleasant happens. It's okay. In other words, give some space to make mistake. Capacity to accept the errors and the mistakes of others, that is called titiksha. I don't live a life of limping. No person has a boil on the foot, keeps while walks, he or she is limping. The road is clear, but because of the boil. Similarly, there is a mental boils of those memories. Those people you see, keep remembering, and then you live a limping life. No limping life. Live a free life. Though difficult, though painful, though unpleasant, but it is manageable. Learn to manage those unpleasant situations. Learn to manage those difficult situations. If you can't, then walk away. That also you can't, then accept it. What is the point in grumbling again and again? That is where, to develop this value, some shraddha on Ishvara is necessary. In other words, if you live in the awareness of Ishvara, if we learn to see the grace that you received so far, then you will learn to see that even that unpleasant is also grace. If I look back my journey, I find there were hundreds and hundreds of slips, like which I could have slipped. I was saved all this way. There is always some grace flowing with me. There are always some unseen hands taking care of me. There is always some mother or father who is guiding me all the way. And in this unpleasant, he also will be doing. I just wait for the passage of time to unfold the kaleidoscopic design of my life. It's okay, beautiful. When it was there, I couldn't see that because you are so close to it. Remember those experiences, childhood, some decisions to study this, some decisions to buy this house, some decision to marry this person. So many things. At that moment, it was painful or irrelevant. But when you see the whole design, it is so beautiful, like kaleidoscopic design, ever changing. This also is like that. That kind of shraddha, that kind of awareness, that I live in the awareness of Ishvara. And last but not the least, one should know this, that even this will pass away. Just as everything is passed out from my life, this will also go away. Somehow When dukkham comes, when unpleasant situation comes, human mind thinks, oh, when it will go, it will not go, lifelong, I'm stuck with it. No. Just as you tried, however hard I tried to hold on to Sukha, it just slipped out of my hand. So also, however hard I push it to go out, it will not go, and at a proper time it will go. Even this will pass. That awareness of Ishvara, that awareness about the certain factual nature of the situation and the people will give you that inner strength to accept the thing. I repeat, acceptance doesn't mean don't do anything. No. Accept it and do what is to be done. Not out of rejection, not out of anger, not out of frustration, not out of despair. Okay? This is why there is, when you accept, there is some degree of objectivity about the situation. There is some degree of awareness about Ishvara. And then, since you enjoy freedom, you have freedom to change if you don't want. You have freedom to change if you don't like it. You have freedom to change if you find it unpleasant or painful. Work it out. But work, action to correct, action to modify should be born out of acceptance. As I said again earlier, it is like mother.
I know, I just am looking.
But then she does it out of acceptance. And that is called titiksha. Okay? Now, there is one more value next to it, is called Shraddha. Look at this. It says, Shraddha Kidrushi. And the teacher, student asks, oh sir, what is the Shraddha? What is the nature of Shraddha? Shraddha Kidrushi. The teacher says, Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Vishwasaha Shraddha. There is no translation for Shraddha. You can say faith, you can say trust, but it's a very, very loaded word. Let us use it for the time being just to translate the verse, the word trust or faith. Trust on what? Guru, Vedanta, Vakya Adishu. Faith on the teacher, faith on the scriptures, the statements of Vedanta Shastra, and etc. What is etc. that we'll see a little later. Please understand what exactly Shraddha means. Like Dharma, Shraddha is also a very confused word. Indians have confused it very well. Shraddha is not an emotion, it is a cognitive, and it's a cognitive thing. It is not the quality of your mind, it is a quality of your intellect. They may say, Shraddha means surrender. Please understand, what does the surrender mean? There are two extreme natured people in the name of Shraddha. The surrender means I totally do accept what the teacher says, that the Shastra says. Whatever they say, it is true. Nothing else. No question, nothing. Just follow. There is another category who outright rejects. This is useless. Prattling of rishis, as they say, the time pass, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to even listen to it. They don't want to see to it. Even when someone says there is a resistance. The first is called Andhashraddha. Second is called Ashraddha. Ashraddha means an attitude of resistance, an attitude of negation, without proper inquiry, without proper analysis, just outright rejection, that is called ashraddha. It often happens, I myself have experienced. In those days when Swamiji used to come, I used to tell some of the people, come, you come evening, Swamiji is coming, listen to you. I've heard so many Swamis from there. He says, Swami, we'll see, let me have time. I know what they talk. Without knowing the Swami, without knowing what is he talking and what kind of person he is, it's a time pass. This is all ashraddha. To outright negation. Andhashraddha means outright acceptance. Non-thinking acceptance is andhashraddha. Non-thinking rejection is also ashraddha. In between shraddha. Thinking acceptance is, we say, acceptance pending discovery. I don't accept and swallow it down. I keep it in mouth, in between. Till I analyze and see the truth of the statements, then I gulp it down. Without chewing, you gulp down, that is called andhashraddha. And without chewing, you throw it out, that is called ashraddha. Accept it. Chewing at the level of cognition, intellect. Chewing at the level of understanding takes place, munching out. I see the logic behind. That is Shraddha. Acceptance pending discovery. Exactly like judge in a court of law. The person is called as accused. No? But judge doesn't give punishment. For the sake of arguments, accused and defendant, the words are used. But judge has to see that he is accused. Then he gives punishment. However, media hype might have been taken place. A common perception is, yes, this fellow has committed crime. He might have been caught red-handed. But still, the judge gave him the patient hearing, benefit of doubt. This fellow may be right. That capacity, this is called cognitive openness. Either when you reject it outright, there is cognitive closeness. And you just accept it outright, there is no cognitive closeness. Buddhi is closed. No. Keep my thinking capacity alert. I analyze, think, all right, what Guru says. If I see the apit in the argument, then I accept or assimilate. That is called Shraddha. As I said, that's a guna of buddhi, not an emotion. Today I have Shraddha and suddenly emotion change, tomorrow I miss the Shraddha. That's not Shraddha. Acceptance pending discovery. Till I discover, I accept. But acceptance doesn't mean I own it. When I see it, I'm willing to own it. There is a second part of Shraddha, intellectual honesty. People sometimes hold on to their opinion because their ego is questioned. That's their image. No. I thought this way in the light of new knowledge, in the light of new argument, I change. Capacity to change myself is also Shraddha. I may opt not to change, that is okay. But then if I see the need of it, I have capacity. That is Shraddha. Until I see the need, I have trust, Shraddha on teacher. Or Vedanta Vakya, or the sentences of Upanishad, that it must be true. How can it be true? That I try to see. But then I accept it must be true. That is called Shraddha. We'll see something more about it in the next class. Okay? Namaste. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।